Which ones did he end?
We're talking about conflicts right now. I mean, for 12-day war is done, if you want to, because you've attributed that to Donald Trump and Israel. I mean, we now have a ceasefire. Okay. Before that, we had the Abraham Accords. I mean, if you look at the invasions that have taken place.
None of those ended a war. The Abraham Accords didn't end any wars.
So if we're looking at the other examples in the past where you look at invasions from Russia when they got froggy, obviously they tend to favor Democrat administrations.
Bro, he said, what wars has Trump ended? He said, Iran war, 12-day war. Okay, he started that, and that's probably not really over. It's not a peace deal. It was like a tweet that went out. He said, Abraham Accords, which literally brought us to the point of October 7th. The Abraham Accords are what sparked this uproar in Gaza, if you will. And he mentioned Russia. That's not a convincing argument at all. I just want you to focus on one thing here, because on this entire debate, Steven Crowder's looking at the camera. He's looking, his eyes are completely peeled to the camera. He's looking straight forward, as he does in all his live streams, all his videos. He's looking at the camera. Now, when you get to this part of the debate, well, Dave, Trump isn't bad. Think about all the wars he's ended. He's ended all the wars. Sure, maybe he started a few of them. Maybe he takes a little bit too much credit for some of the ceasefires or peace deals that he claims to have taken credit for. But he's ended all the wars, Dave. And Dave says, well, you know, which ones are you thinking of? Let's talk about which ones. And immediately he just starts going, well, you know, Iran. And Dave's like, well, you know, he started that. And then he goes, well, Russia, I guess. And then Dave's like, Russia? He ended the Russia. And then you see Dave, Steven Crowder's eyes. They pan to the side and he starts reading off something. One of his assistants is holding up, you know, a whiteboard or something, or a computer, and he's holding up the list of, you know, the peace deals that Trump has allegedly negotiated for these countries around the world. He holds this up, and you see Steven Crowder goes, yeah. Thailand and Cambodia, Azerbaijan and Armenia. What about those? And then, like, Dave responds a few minutes later. He tries to bring up Azerbaijan and Armenia and Cambodia again, and he has to look back at the whiteboard one more time to even remember the names of these countries. It's amazing. Take a look.
And this man has ended more wars than any other president, at least that I can recall. Pretty close. He's ended many wars. The only one that he hasn't ended is Ukraine.
Which ones did he end?
We're talking about conflicts right now. I mean, for 12-day war is done, if you want to, because you've attributed that to Donald Trump and Israel. I mean, we now have a ceasefire. Before that, we had the Abraham Accords. I mean, if you look at the invasions that have taken place.
None of those ended a war. The Abraham Accords didn't end any wars.
So if we're looking at the other examples in the past where you look at invasions from Russia when they got froggy, obviously they tend to favor Democrat administrations.
Bro, he said, what wars has Trump ended? He said, Iran war, 12-day war. Okay, he started that, and that's probably not really over. It's not a peace deal. It was like a tweet that went out. He said, Abraham Accords, which literally brought us to the point of October 7th. The Abraham Accords are what sparked this uproar in Gaza, if you will. And he mentioned Russia. That's not a convincing argument at all for any of those, especially considering the Russian war is still going.
I think he's been very non-interventionist, not an isolationist. And I think that Thailand, Cambodia is one that comes to mind. India, Pakistan.
He starts looking over at someone holding up a whiteboard, writing down Thailand, Cambodia, whatever other countries he's got listed here. Look at his eyes.
Non-interventionist, not an isolationist. And I think that Thailand, Cambodia is one that comes to mind. India, Pakistan.
He looks over to the side every time. He can't even remember the countries that Donald Trump has done these miraculous, world-changing, history-altering peace deals in.
And none of count Israel, Gaza, India, Pakistan.
No, it's not that none of them count, Stephen. It's just
Azerbaijan, Armenia. I know that because I have a lot of Armenian friends. I mean, you keep interrupting me. Do none of these count?
I don't think any of them are wars that Donald Trump was conducting that he ended. I mean, Donald Trump, look, in his first 4 years, he inherited the war in Iraq and the war in Afghanistan. We had troops in Syria. We had troops in.
Let me just say before, because Dave, I wouldn't have answered this question like this. I would have said, first of all, Trump immensely overstated the role that he played in ending these conflicts. Some of these conflicts, or calling them wars, is an extreme overstatement of what was actually going on. also, you were clearly looking off to the side, reading a whiteboard or a computer that someone put before your eyes, because every time you mentioned one of the two countries, you were looking over to the side. I would say also the most important part here is that when you look at the wars that the U.S. is waging, they have not come to a close. The NATO proxy war in Ukraine has not come to a close. The flames that are being flared surrounding China and Taiwan, that has only heightened since Trump got into power. I've discussed this. You can look at what's been going on. The increase in armaments, direct armaments, illegal, by the way, to Taiwan. The positioning of the U.S. in the Asia-Pacific region, whether it's in South Korea, what we're doing, or what we're doing in Japan, or some of these islands near Taiwan. You look at what's going on in Venezuela, Colombia, Haiti right now. Not good. We are increasing our war footing surrounding the Caribbean and Latin America. And of course, in Gaza, you call it a ceasefire. I don't call it a ceasefire. It's not a ceasefire. If it was a ceasefire, there'd be no fire. But there's fire twice already. 200 Gazan civilians have been killed as the U.S. co-signed on these strikes and on these shootings. So, yeah, Cambodia, Thailand, the great Cambodia-Thailand War of 2025. You put that up, frame that picture on the wall, put it up next to FDR, Roosevelt, and Churchill sitting in Yalta. You know, what are we saying here? What are we talking about here? You know, this is insane, acting like Trump is the greatest peacemaker of all time.
In Somalia, he talked about pulling them out. And in fact, I think he was the major reporting about him being lied to about the number of troops in Syria, but he never did get them out. He kept the war going in Afghanistan for 4 years, surged it, even though he knew it was an unwinnable war. I will give him credit, he eventually wrote the plans that did get out, but it was for his second term. And then, of course, he left it to Joe Biden to completely fumble the entire thing. He kept the war in the Saudi invasion of Yemen going his entire first 4 years. He just broke records for the most strikes in Somalia in any year. We've been bombing them since 2002, I think. I mean, so I don't know. And he's backed Israel his entire time in their destruction of Gaza, and he's failed to stop the war in Ukraine. So, like, again, his rhetoric is certainly better. And there are a few things I could look to that I would point to, go, hey, he did a really good job there. But I don't know. I don't really agree with your overall characterization.
Well, it's not that you disagree with my overall characterization. Your question was, name me any wars he's ended. And then you move the goalposts, right?
Name me any wars he ended. That is not what Dave Smith said, but he said which ones? And then Steven Crowder had to go and look at a whiteboard to remember the great Cambodia-Thailand War of 2025. And he said, first of all, he said Iran, Russia, and Abraham Accords. This guy's so stupid. You know, he does really good work when he's, leaking information and reports from ATF and whatnot. And he's talking about what's going on with some of these critical issues in the U.S. I'll give him that. Probably not the guy to be debating Dave Smith, let alone anyone, about what's going on in the Middle East, right?